Hey, good morning, Manna. My name's Nick, and this week we're going to look at the 7 I am statements from Jesus as recorded in the Gospel of John. You know, each one of these statements, they're so powerful because they not only teach us about the identity and the purpose of Jesus, but they also reveal the nature of our relationship with Him. But before we jump into any of those statements, today we're just going to set the stage. We're going to talk about the significance and the context surrounding each of these statements. And I think it's so important for us to understand John's intention when he's writing this gospel. So keep in mind, John is writing to both Jews and Gentiles. His goal is very evangelistic, and one of the primary themes that we see repeated throughout his gospel is that Jesus is the Messiah. He's the Son of God. Jesus is the I am. Now, this would be particularly significant to the Jewish readers of John's Gospel because the name I am is a reference back to Exodus chapter 3 when God speaks to Moses from the burning bush. In fact, let's take a moment. Let's turn there right now. We're going to read the original I am statement from God. We're going to start in Exodus chapter 3, verse 13. This is what it says. Then Moses said to God, "If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' what shall I say to them?" And God said to Moses, "I am who I am." And he said, "Say this to the people of Israel, 'I am has sent me to you.'" God also said to Moses, "Say this to the people of Israel, 'The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever.'" In Hebrew, the name I am translates as Yahweh. And this would be the holy, sacred name that God introduces himself as. And for generations and generations, people wouldn't even say his name or even write it down unless it was a special occasion, just out of sheer reverence, for who God is and just the weight that name carries. But what does the name I am teach us about God? Here's 3 quick things. First, it demonstrates God's power and his self-sufficiency. God is above all. He's before all. He's the creator of all. He's the sustainer of all, in all, through all, and forever will be. God is eternal. The second thing it teaches us is that God is never changing. Theologians, they call this the immutability of God. In other words, God, in all of his perfections, doesn't need to improve anything or change any aspect of his being or character. God's not in the process of becoming something different from what he already is and always has been. He's the same today as he was yesterday and as he always will be. The third thing we learn is that God is a personal God. Prior to all of this, God's people, they referred to him as Elohim, which means supreme or mighty one. They might even call him El Shaddai, which means God Almighty. But notice, each of these titles, that's just what they are. They're titles of God. They're not a personal name. But now, God is introducing himself as Yahweh. He's inviting a greater level of intimacy, which reflects his desire for us to know him. All of that to say, this is a very significant moment. And over 1,000 years later, as John is writing his gospel, he's leveraging the gravity of this moment to communicate the divine nature of Jesus through these 7 I am statements. So tomorrow, we'll take a closer look at the first one. I can't wait. I'll see you then.